So, Joel Embiid. Like, I'm sorry. I don't... Why do we call Anthony Davis street clothes? Why do we call Anthony Davis street clothes and not this man right here? And I said it from the very start of the year. I'm like, when Joel Embiid was announced that he was like out at the start of the year, like I hate load management. Not because I think it's bad for the players. And I think the biggest problem I have with load management is that they load manage games because they don't want their stats to be affected. Like, the reality of the situation is, if stats did not mean so much and per game stats did not mean so much, I would much rather, like, players, it would help the players out if they played, instead of not playing back-to-backs, they played 25 minutes a night. Like, it would probably help the team for certain players to play 25 minutes a night instead of playing 40 minutes a night. But they need to get their stats up. They need to get their stats up in the regular season because, well, they need to get their stats up. So, like, and the reason why I hate load management is I am one of the people that went to, has been to a game where the superstar sat out. I went to watch the Heatles play, and the big three all sat out for no reason. Like, they actually had a chance in 2014 against the Wizards. They had a chance of still getting the number one seed. It wasn't over, but, you know, they sat their players the last 2 games of the year, and they lost the finals that year. I had to watch Michael Beasley trying to cook and getting beaten by 40 by John Wall's Wizards. So I still hate load management. But it says here, an investigation to the Philadelphia 76ers surrounding the player participation of Joel Embiid. More to come on NBA Today on ESPN right now, which is kind of crazy. Like, you're seeing right here, what are they investigating? A player everyone known is hurt is going to miss time due to a known injury. That's the problem, is he's not injured. He straight up said he was never going to play back-to-backs again. The only people mad at him are opposing fans in the league. And, like, the problem is, and the one thing is, I kind of understand that, where it's like, oh, Sixers fans are happy with that. The problem is, like, again, he could be coming to your city and you could buy a ticket and suddenly he's not there. But what happens if the Sixers win? Like, that is the scariest thing. What happens if the Sixers win? If the Sixers win the championship this year, and let's say they win from 8th seed, it would be the worst thing to ever happen to the NBA. It would mean that load management or refusing to play back-to-backs works. And when it's just Joel Embiid doing it, it's one thing. What happens if next season? What happens if we go into next season and LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards, because I know Tatum won't. Tatum will play. But let's say Anthony Edwards, he doesn't. He doesn't seem to care that much about basketball. Anthony Edwards, Luka will do it for the rest. Jokic, Embiid, LeBron, Durant, Steph. What if they all do it? What if they all do it? And that's the thing where it's like, you can't just let Joel Embiid do it, because if this is proven to work, why wouldn't they all do it? Like, if players only want to play 60 games a year, why wouldn't they just play 60 games a year? Like, you don't need to make all NBA teams. Like, you genuinely don't need to make all NBA teams. So what happens here? What was said here? Says Embiid saying he will not play back-to-back is a bad message. I agree. What does Stephen A. Smith say?
Back, hand, face, ankle, shoulder, calf, hip, elbow, ribs. I mean, damn.
To be fair, he had Bell's palsy at one stage. Like, let's not forget that. Let's not forget he played with Bell's palsy. And that's the thing where it's like, taking a day off, a restful back-to-back day off. Okay, I appreciate this meme. Paying someone $60 million a year, because this is the issue. The reason why players can get their money, it is a horrible precedent for the league. The league, they're not going to do anything with Joel Embiid. I think the problem is Joel Embiid coming out and saying, I'm not playing back-to-backs for the rest of my career. Like, him loudly saying that while getting paid, while people have already bought the tickets. It's one thing to do it, it's another thing to say you're going to do it. And that's the big problem with it all, is like, it's a horror. Not only is it a horrible look, he hasn't given a reason. Like, he's literally said, I'm resting 20 games a year. And we all understand when it's Joel Embiid that he's had all these injuries and it's probably is best for him. Like, it's one thing, like, and it was the way he worded it as well. He could have come out and said something like, I don't know, I was like, based on doctor's advice, I will not be playing in back-to-back games for the foreseeable future, for my own health. Sorry to disappoint fans, but I feel like it's more important to be able to get the best out of me while I'm on the floor. I'm just not playing back-to-backs. Like, I think nothing's going to happen. Like, see this investigation into him from the NBA. Nothing is going to come from the investigation. There is a 0% chance that anything comes from this. Heck, the Sixers, I don't even know what the hell the Sixers are going to be looking like right now. But there is nothing going to come from Joel Embiid from this investigation. The only problem with the investigation is that, like, we have to call a spade a spade. They can't just let every player do this. They have to put their foot down and say, we're making sure we're not just allowing this to be done with nothing. We're not just allowing players to say, I'm not playing basketball. And even though, like, they're going to do it. And I mean that, like, they're going to do it. It's not going to make any difference. But it can't be, like, a big thing. It can't be, like, an NBA acceptable thing. So what do you guys think is going to happen this year? I think the Sixers are going to really struggle. I think Joel Embiid is going to have one of the biggest what-if careers ever. Because for me, anyway, I'm like, Joel Embiid has got so much ability. He's one of the greatest ever as far as, like, pure dominance goes. But he's going to have a career where he's not going to make the top 100. I'm telling you that. He is going to have a legacy less than that of Derrick Rose. He's not going to make a conference finals in his career. I would be extremely confident of that. They're not in the best two teams in the East. I would be shocked if Joel Embiid makes a conference finals in his career. He mightn't win a playoff series for the rest of his career. That's what I think is going to happen. I think he's going to be hurt in the playoffs. I think even with taking these rests, he's going to be hurt in the playoffs. And yeah, it's always something. It's always something. And, like, realistically, the fact that Joel Embiid has had this type of career after missing his first 2 years through injury is impressive in itself. But yeah, there is no way in hell that anything happens from this. But there's also no way in hell that Joel Embiid ever plays another back-to-back.